I said, are you ready? Let's get ready to suck it!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, rugby league fans of all ages, welcome back to the number one Wrestling Times Rugby League podcast in the absolute world. I am Dean Messiter. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Curtis Woodward. How are you, my good friend?
You got it in one take, Mess.
Oh, one take.
Yeah.
Absolutely zero practices there, podcast. Zero stuff ups. I'm a professional, mate. This is what I am. This is what I do.
No. Awesome, mate. And we're making history tonight, our first watch-along. So we've picked the premiere of SmackDown back in 1999, just peak WWF. So many awesome characters that we're going to go back and have a look at. I did not research this episode at all today, so I can't remember much, except for I think Jim Cornette's commentating, and there might be weird red ropes, because I think they might have recorded after a Raw as a pre-tape. As the pilot episode. But very excited tonight, mate. This is a little bit different. So we'll sit back, have a few beers, and hopefully some of the listeners out there can watch along and make comments. And, you know, obviously it won't be live for them, but hopefully they enjoy it and get to experience it as we watch it.
I cheated. I cheated a little bit. I did get it up earlier, and
well, that's a good thing, because then we can refer back to you.
Yeah. Like, I didn't watch it all. I saw bits and pieces. I just wanted to see, you know, what was happening, when it was, all that sort of stuff, just to refresh my mind. I like to be prepared. If anyone knows me, I hate going in things unprepared, but I have no notes at all. It's just going to be free talk, so that will be exciting and challenging for me, but looking forward to it. But yeah, like Curtis said, this is a watch along, so a little bit different of an episode than what we usually do. What we're going to do is we're going to play. The very first episode of SmackDown. Curtis sent me a list of things saying I actually want to do a review of the so-called greatest ever ending of SmackDown, which fans of wrestling probably know it, where almost every wrestler or every big main eventer of wrestling at the time came in and did their finisher on the ending of a SmackDown. It was like just the best, and it goes every now and then you see it go through socials as a viral post, and it is every time you see it, you got to stop and watch. But yeah, he then said, well, why don't we just do a watch along of a full episode? I said, yep, bang, let's do it. And he sent the thing, and I thought no better time to start than the very first episode of SmackDown. Massive episode, so much going on at the time, 1999, the peak of wrestling between WCW and WWF, and yeah, massive. So I thought nothing better than to start there. So if you do want to watch it, watch along. We're going to give you a prompt where you press play, and that's when we'll be pressing play, and we'll be giving our commentary, and you can listen along with it. So yeah, if I think the only place you can get it is WWE Network. I think you may be able to find an episode on YouTube, but we're going through the network. So wherever you can find it, if you can find it somewhere else, you may encounter some ads or something like that and might skip out. We'll try and keep you updated on what's happening throughout the night if you're doing that, but find a way you can watch it, you know, even if you just get the trial for network. If you don't have it, I mean, you get 2 weeks or something. So and let us know what you think of the episode as well. We enjoy the feedback. And
I was going to say too, don't forget, guys, as well, and just because I got burnt by it then, and we just touched on it before we pressed record. For the first time, if you're clicking into the very first episode, when you go back to 1999 SmackDown, there's maybe a 17, 18 second ad that will play the first time. Get through that and then go back into it or whatever. Don't skip the intro, which it says to do, because Dan and I are both on 0 minutes, and we're going to start at the intro as well.
So very first episode, it's an hour and 28 minutes and 43 seconds long, so just make sure you're on the right one. But yeah, this is, I don't know, I've never done this before, so this will be new and challenging for both of us. But you want to kick it off, you reckon, Curtis?
Yeah,
why
go
not?
for it.
All right, so We'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Now. On now, we press play. So yeah, like Curtis said, make sure you get rid of that ad. If you encounter it, just come back and get ready again. But I suppose here we go. So 3, 2.
Oh, hang on. Sorry.
Knew this had happened. Fucking hell.
No, I'm back to 0. Okay, so on your count. Go.
Radio. 3, 2, 1. Now.
Beautiful.
Here we go. Oh, the intro. The good old WWF intro.
How much did that get you pumped for a pay-per-view?
It does, doesn't it? You were just like... That's why I didn't want to skip the intro. You miss hearing it. But, yeah, it's a good thing to see. Here we go. We're kicking off with what happened on Raw. I'm guessing Raw, where Shane McMahon come over the top and hit The Rock with the belt. And Stone Cold retained the title.
Is Rock a good guy here, Dean? Or is he part of...
No, so he would have been with the corporation, and then he's left at this stage.
Yeah. Obviously. Looking at that.
Yeah. So no, he's part of his face turn, I suppose. Yeah, this is a little bit after that. So this is after WrestleMania. This is in 99 April. So this is just after WrestleMania. So this is just after Rock and Stone Cold in their first WrestleMania.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you what, I was a huge Triple H fan, and I rate those long pants. I didn't like him in just the undies.
Yeah, I always thought he might. And there's Devil Undertaker, which I loved as well. But
that's where he kidnapped Stephanie.
So, some dark shit back here. Like, didn't they hang Big Boss Man?
Hey?
Didn't they hang Big Boss Man at WrestleMania or something? They hung him or something like that.
And so on Raw, they bring out Stephanie, and this is where he was gonna wed her.
Oh God!
And Stone Cold comes out with the save. Yeah, crazy storylines back then. You know, they had the Kane rapist angle. They had
Katie Vick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince wanted to be the father of Stephanie's child.
Oh, mate, there was some crazy stuff.
I will say, though, in WWF, because like I've said before, when I was 12 in 99, I think, so I was a WCW guy, which I said before, I didn't watch this all back. I didn't become a WWF expert until years later.
Yep.
But at least in the main event scene in WWF, it was very consistent.
Yeah,
the first
this
time
intro...
That's from the first SmackDown game too on PS2.
Yeah. Oh, mate, was it PS2, was it? PS1. I don't know. It's one of the very first SmackDown, and you couldn't skip it. So every time you loaded the game up, you just had to listen to it. And I've got that embedded in my head still. That was it was a great great intro. I think you're right there with the red ropes.
Yeah. Oh, but look, like I was saying, at least WWF were consistent with their main event scene. Like WCW, I mean, we probably won't do another watch along for a while, but I'd love to see your review of WCW at its absolute worst under Vince Russo in like 2000, 2001. But
no, I think, to be fair, I think we probably should do like one of their best episodes before we do one of their worst episodes.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably about 97, I think.
When they were at their peak, they did have some really good angles and some great matches as well.
Yeah, well, they destroyed WWF for like half of 96 and all of 97, or something like that.
A packed out crowd. I'm not sure where we're at here, but we've got who we got coming out. Oh, Vincent and Steph coming out. So yeah, look, another thing too, like the SmackDown, like this shows how much. I know that SmackDown was a word before Rock started using it, but he brought it to prominence, right, in his promos.
It was one of his tags, right?
It was one of his tags. It shows how much faith and they, how much he knew how popular he'd be to name a show after one of his, SmackDown.
Well, it was his show, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And they didn't do it on purpose, but when you think SmackDown in those days, you think of The Rock. And Austin was at his peak. So the way they booked it, it was kind of like Raw was Austin and SmackDown was The Rock's, even though they were both on both shows.
Show us your puppies. Man, I used to love that. The King. Puppies! God, Steph looks young there.
Yeah, it's a bit scary.
Wonder how long, she would have only been on TV. What, less than a year? Probably there. Not even that. Was this like one of her first angles? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. And it's not too far removed from when Triple H actually drugs her and drives her through a drive-through wedding ceremony and goes, "Yes, I do, Hunter." I mean, like, yeah, sure, that stands up, doesn't it?
God, man, like, I think we've spoken about it before when we Vince and his all the charges that he's going through at the moment. But you look back on some of these shows and some of the stuff that they talk about just doesn't stand up these days.
Well, do you remember when everyone used to go, "Oh no, Mr. McMahon is a character, Vince is a different guy"? They're not.
No,
they're not. He's a big, powerful creep in both roles.
It's amazing, like, now, or not now, but let's say the last 20 years, where he wasn't so much of a character on screen, or I shouldn't say 20 years, let's say maybe 10, where he spent a lot of time backstage and wasn't prominent in front of camera. Back then, like, how much, did he have less control than what he did in the last 10 years? Or did he have, because he's on screen so much?
No, I think up until his last days before they actually booted him completely, before he was still running the show backstage. He was in charge of everything. And you can actually...
No, so I know that. So, like, and when he's not on camera... So he's controlling
he's in the gorilla position.
Yeah, so he's controlling it 100% from behind there.
Back here, as soon as he goes backstage, he's putting the headphones on and he's like talking to the commentators and everything.
So I suppose, like, while he's out here and they're doing the spots backstage and all that sort of stuff, like, he's got less control then, hasn't he? He's still hands on, but someone else is in there controlling it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard for an egotistical guy for him to do that, to give control, even if it's only for 10, 15 minutes while he's cutting a promo. But then you got to also think, too, that at this point, he's probably the biggest villain in pro wrestling.
Oh, 100%, easy.
So he'd be loving that as well.
Yeah. I wonder now if he reads, like, newspaper articles and dirt sheets and all that where, everyone's praising the show and what it is now because Triple H has taken over.
It's an interesting one. I think Triple H actually done an interview a couple of weeks ago and admitted, he said he had a word to Vince when he took over, and Vince said, "No, do it your way. You have to do it your way."
Yep.
So I think there's a big part of Vince that's happy that they're using the word wrestling again on the shows. The wrestlers are actually doing their own promos. They've only got bullet points again.
Yep.
They're fighting like big testosterone, roided up guys again. It's making me excited to watch it again. So I think Vince might be sitting back and he's enjoying himself. I think he just had his birthday and he's recorded in New York, having a big party. So I think he's enjoying it. But for better or worse, I mean, like, he's a god, right? I know he's sexual deviant too and used company money, but
I can't believe, like, how every time, even like Stephanie, like, here, she's very... You can even just tell by the mannerisms, like, she's very out there. And Shane on the mic was so good. Shane in front of the camera was so good. They were all just so... Like, they were just naturals, weren't they?
And then there was Linda.
Yeah.
She
hasn't got the blood of... Well, she probably has got the blood of Vince in her, but somewhere.
No, I think she was too busy. She's politicking her whole career, and she's best mates with Hillary and Bill and all that stuff. But I wonder, is he booking matches here? Or do you want to have a listen in for a minute?
Yeah, let's tune in. So I'll mute that. So just because we've got some music coming out. So this is the corporation coming out.
So Shane's running the corporation at the moment.
Shane's running the corporation. I think, there was a few episodes before this. It was like a bit of a power struggle between them. And Shane was like... And obviously we know, like, well, I don't think we're going to... Like, we're not going to spoil anything by saying, Vince was behind all this, right? This was all a bit of a show. So this is just to stir Austin up. But... Yeah, the whole, for the public, it was a power play, and Shane took over the corporation, and you'll see later on where that goes as well in the first episode. But I think that's Triple H at his peak. Let's listen in here.
Now at his side every step of the way. And the chance once reserved for Vince
Good old
McMahon,
arsehole chance.
now being thrown the way
Look at the
of
Main
his
Street
son
posse,
Shane.
man.
First of all, what are you doing here? You know what? Never mind. I don't even want to hear it. I have to address one thing. Last Monday night, when The Undertaker abducted Stephanie, do you not think that myself or the entire corporation would have been there for my own flesh and blood, my sister, if something bad were to have happened? Do you not think I would have been there for you? What type of human being do you think I am?
What kind of a human being do I think you are, Shane?
I think that... Shut your mouth. That's
Whoa.
enough out of you. I don't even want to hear it anymore.
Total disrespect yet again.
All of a sudden, Vince McMahon is out here apologizing for how you used to run business. What happened to the most ruthless tycoon in the history of the world? You all of a sudden grew a conscience overnight? And then it makes me sick to my stomach. I almost regurgitated in the back. You're out here thanking Stone Cold Steve Austin for saving your precious little daughter, Stephanie, Daddy's little girl. Want to steal a line from Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what? As it relates to business, I don't give a rat's ass about Daddy's little girl. I don't give a rat's ass about Stone Cold, and I don't give a rat's ass about you.
What the hell has gotten into Shane? Power!
Look at Steph's face. Oh.
That face.
Then maybe you should give a rat's ass about this. Oh, I got this. Yo. Back it up. Hold on, back it up. Hunter, John, I got this one. Just chill out for 1 second.
This one looks a bit different from 3 years ago.
Oh, 100%.
Step back.
I actually had a crush on her. when I
Matter
was a
of
kid.
fact, you know what?
I don't know if that's bad or not.
Attitude out of my face,
No.
Vince, before I slap the
Love is
wrinkles
love.
out of yours. Come on.
A son talking to a father like that.
Now you may leave and take your precious little daughter with you. Get to stepping. This is my show. I'm running things here. See ya.
You know, one day, Shane, you may be a man. Tonight, you're acting like a petulant little boy.
Well, let Wonder Boy show you to the door. That's it. Corporation escort them out. There you go. There it is. Let's give Vince and Stephanie, Daddy's little girl, a big hand. Thank you very much for coming here this evening.
You wonder why, Dean,
Sayonara.
that people got sick of WWE 20 years after this in like 2019. It was still the McMahon family and
Yep.
too much of it.
Yeah, like how many stories can you really show? Although in saying that, I was watching the tennis the other day, and after the tennis was Bold and the Beautiful, and you've still got like Victor and his stripper wife from like 40 years ago. And you're
Victor,
like,
is that the old guy with the grey hair?
yes, yep. So
Could be him.
I know we're trying to talk wrestling here, but Victor, he apparently I looked it up. I was like, this can't be the same guy. He looks exactly the same, but it can't be. Surely he's dead by now. Looked him up. Apparently, he was only meant to do like a guest spot, and he was so good that they went, "Oh, do you want to stay on for the season?" He's like, "Oh, I don't really like soaps and all that, but I'll do it." And then 42 years later, he's still on the show.
Wow.
But yeah, like they're still doing same story. Like, well, not same stories, but they're still doing stories. Like, it's funny. Like you look at like Summer Bay, Home and Away. Yeah, how many weddings, how many deaths, how many people have been kidnapped? It's like, is this the worst place to fucking live?
Do you remember Passions?
Oh yes.
After school?
It was like witches, wasn't it? There was like all supernatural stuff as well. It was
Oh,
weird.
what was that guy's name? My mum had a crush on him, and his girlfriend's name was Hope, and he was in Days of Our Lives. He had like a black mullet. I can't remember his name.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can visualize his face now.
Starts with R.
Do you know? Back on this wrestling, I love.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No,
Where are we going?
Triple H wearing a WWF Attitude shirt. Like, how they always wear a shirt, promote their shirts, try and get their merch selling and all that. Just weird that he's wearing like a a standard, stock standard one.
I reckon it because he's on the verge here. Like a couple months later,
let's listen to him.
He beats
here.
Big Show for a title, doesn't he? His first title.
He's not talking.
He's so close. He knows he's close to becoming a world champion too.
Yes,
He's done his
He's sort of just biding his time at the moment. He knows, the big one is Rock Austin, obviously, and he gets involved very shortly.
Oh, here we go.
Lights go out.
Oh, how good was this music, man?
Yeah.
I was always dirty, Dean, and I kept saying this at the back end of Undertaker's career. He should have went away, and his retirement match, he should have come back as like a dead man badass, like the Undertaker on a motorbike, and mixed the two characters together. I thought that would have been awesome.
Yeah. That would have been good, because that was a really good character, like a real good change-up.
Mm.
His promos were so red hot. Let's listen to him here, actually.
Role of the spoiler. Tonight, I play multiple roles. Judge, jury, executioner. Coroner.
Oh yeah, the Brahma Bull, the Rattlesnake, right here tonight on SmackDown against Triple H and The Undertaker.
What?
Can you feel that power? Can you feel the power of Shane McMahon? And why does this all happen? Because Shane McMahon said so.
Oh, he said the line.
Yeah, no, that's a good promo from Shane. That's a very hot way to start. Obviously, he was this is all a swerve from Vince and Shane and that, but
that's a great tag team to have for the very first show, the main event.
Jim Cornette, my favorite.
Yeah, when I was cheating and listening to a bit today, Jim Cornette, you forget. I didn't like his commentary. He treats everyone like it's their first time watching wrestling.
Mm.
The way he sort of
he gets people
everything.
over.
Yeah, he does, but it's very sometimes condescending. When Kane comes on, because so they just had Kane and X-Pac. They'll be fighting Road Dogg and Mr. Ass.
Yep.
And for the tag team titles. He comes out and he starts saying about Kane, how he was burned as a child and he's the brother of The Undertaker, and basically gives all the backstory. And you're like, he's been around for 3 years now. He doesn't need to. It's like, every Batman movie starts with his parents getting killed. Everyone knows his parents get killed when he's a kid. We don't need it every time, but he seems to think, he needs to explain it all the time.
Yeah, he's very detailed. I think that's just his mind as well.
It is, yeah. Sometimes you do need it, but then other times it's like, was that the Blue Blazer running through earlier?
Yeah, I was about to say the poor bugger.
Val Venus. He was one of my favourites too. I don't know why he never really got a main event run. He had the look that Vince loved. He was over with the crowd. Everyone loved him.
Yeah. I think what he needed, he would have had to, turn heel, maybe get a manager. His promos weren't bad, but to go to that next level, he probably needed, a heel manager with him, and he could have done it. He could have just gone completely ruthless like they do with heaps of guys that turn heel. I think they finally turned him heel and he joined the Right to Censor.
Yeah, it's like a step backwards, really.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they made so much money off all these guys. What was her name? Not Deborah.
No.
Bass? Amy Bass or something?
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Did he?
Nicole Bass.
Nicole Bass. I was about to say he, but probably not the far wrong.
China with blonde hair.
Oh,
but you said you had a crush on China, so I'll take that back.
Yeah, leave China out of this, please. She did look like I shouldn't say this now, though. After I've said I had a crush on her. I had a crush on her when she looked like what she looked like there, not when you I'm sorry, but
Oh well, I'll put it this way. One of the first.
I don't want to denigrate her as a woman, but she's not with us anymore. I keep forgetting about that, so I might just leave it.
That's okay. As Jeff Jarrett's coming out now, but I remember when she first debuted, her actual debut, she came out of the crowd and manhandled Melina. What was it, Marlena? Gold Coast, Gold Dusters. Entourage.
Yeah,
and she looked scary and she looked completely different. But she did some amazing things in wrestling and
in such a short time too.
Yeah. But look, obviously there's like if you think about it backstage, I mean, this is around the time where Triple H and Steph kind of start looking at each other backstage kind of thing and start talking a little bit more. And it's the end of China. In a sense, it's a bit of a long burn because she ends up, she's with the company till 2001 or something like that. But was she still married to, or she does get married to Austin after this? Or
I think after this because
Deborah.
Remember when he turns heel in 2001, she's his manager.
That's right, yeah.
I think they're not together here, but they're not far apart. Oh, he's a Blue Blazer.
Such a shit gimmick for Owen as
100%,
for Owen as well.
100%.
Because if you're in the crowd there, the demographic of those crowds, it's like 18 to 25, 30-year-old men, and 1999, it's all about Limp Bizkit and South Park and WCW and drinking and Korn, and then they do this to him, and it's such a cheesy face character. Just gave him no chance, really.
Considering less than 2 years before this, he was European champion, Intercontinental champion.
He's a king of hearts. He could wrestle, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. If what happens to him doesn't happen, he probably gets another good run. Probably on, when SmackDown and Raw split in 2002, and SmackDown had all the workers and Angle and Eddie.
Yep.
And that was that. I love that show more than the Raw show because Raw was just basically Triple H and all the old WCW guys.
Yes, yep.
But everyone on SmackDown can work, and they had classics every week. And Owen Hart would have had a good run there. Probably would have got his Hall of Fame by about the mid 2000s. And that would have opened the door for Brett to come back and have a completely different. I know he got taken out by Goldberg and ended his career, but that doesn't say that Brett doesn't come back and spends the next 10 years as a manager or a commissioner or something like that too. So
also,
it's horrible what happens to him.
Just thinking here, this would be not his last wrestling match, but one of his very last because this is in April and he unfortunately passed away in the end of May. So.
Oh, shit. So Over the Edge in Kansas City is coming up soon.
Yeah, so this would have been, one of his last. So, yeah, shame he went out like this.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, they kind of took advantage of the situation. And obviously Vince paid out a big payment to his wife and family. But apparently on the day when the clip that was used, Jesus.
Jeff Jarrett with a massive kick. The Val Venus
that was stiff.
Nuts, and that was stiff.
In the stiff. Shit.
Oh, you need a cup in for that one.
Oh, so Blazer got the win here. So maybe he's working as a heel here. Because he's a joke, right? And Vale Venus is over.
Here comes Nicole Bass. Jeez. Massive.
Oh dear.
But he was big. Val Venus was big. I loved him.
Well, he moved merchandise, right? So
yeah, had some great promos. And I think we might have even mentioned it once before, like his vignettes, his videos before he came in. They sort of built him up to be, this big porn star. And then he fought.
You correct me if I'm wrong, Dean. Did he get his penis chopped off by Cone Tide in an episode?
I think it was what do they call it? One of the greatest cliffhangers in wrestling history. which was they brought the camera in, and then they're like, get the camera out, and then they break back in, and they've blurred it out. They've blurred his butt out, but it looks like, that he's got his dick on this counter, and they've got the sword up, and it's like, and then it ends. Then the episode ends, and it's like, oh my god, what happened? I don't think they ever found out what happened. I don't know. The Godfather.
Yeah, he's another guy.
Aboard the Ho train.
He couldn't work as good as Val Venus, but it's the same kind of guy and the perfect character for that era.
Yes, yep.
And you remember too, like, man, he was Kama Mustafa in the Nation of Domination, and he was Papa Shango as well.
Oh yeah.
He's in the main event, pretty sure. Like we included in the main event with like Hogan and Sid Vicious one year, I think. But he had a mad career. He's a Hall of Famer.
I had when we used to get around and watch these every week, I had a mate and the Godfather was one of his favourites. Oh, so was that the Miz's move, his finishing move?
Yeah. So Jarrett had it first. It's the like a, what do you call it? Like a front leg sweep, or there's a proper word for it, but
yep.
Skull crushing finale, I think the Miz calls it.
But
yeah, that was Jarrett's first.
Jarrett's. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in saying that, someone from Minnesota in the 70s probably had it first. So
100%. They're yelling and screaming for royalties. There's The Rock, the first appearance. You just probably hear the crowd here.
Elbows all of a sudden. And the old rattlesnake to get in a little bit of electricity. Well, I'll tell you what. See, The Rock is just going to have to make a whole bunch of candy asses famous tonight again. Nothing changes.
Later on tonight, Rock teams with Stone Cold.
Had to listen to that one.
Still I was just going to say, that's still before his famous SmackDown promo interviews with Cole and the coach as well, Kevin Kelly.
My mate, his favorite, one of his favorite was The Godfather. He thought he considered himself a little bit of a pimp himself, and loved The Godfather, loved Sexual Chocolate, Mark Henry.
A
couple of his favorites, but yeah, his blue blazer cutting a promo. I won't even listen to this real quick.
But you know what it rhymes with? I can't even say it. But he's deplorable. Everything is deplorable here in the WWF.
But why you?
Why me? Because the WWF needs a superhero like the Blue Blazer. One that can protect good from evil. And one last thing in closing, to all my little Blue Blazers, take your vitamins, say your prayers, and drink your milk.
Yeah, not bit of a joke there, but
I just saw Farouk walking in the background.
Yeah, just I reckon he's looking there going,
I like that though. That's
holy
shit.
shit.
Like a live back. Jesus, how good did he look here?
Yeah, this is peak, wasn't it?
I think he gets a couple of week title run, but then puts Triple H over on a Raw after maybe around Survivor Series.
Well, the very next year at WrestleMania, isn't it a fatal four-way or a four-way match?
Yep.
Him,
it's
Triple
Foley's
H,
last
Mankind,
match,
and Stone Cold. I'm going to say Stone Cold.
No, it was Rock, Foley, Triple H, and Big Show, and there was a McMahon in every corner.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to The Rock, his sideburns. Like, how many variations, and I'll ask you this, which variation did you like? He had the big chompers, like, all the way down to the jawline, like he had in this episode here. He had the ones that went on an angle down, like almost like a point towards his nose.
The Robbie Farahs.
Yeah. He had ones that sort of come down just below his earlobes. That's really all he had. Test isn't with us anymore, I don't think, either.
Nah, he's gone.
So yeah, like he had some variations. What did you? I really love the big ones. I know they look dorky, but I actually grew them myself when I used to be able to grow. Oh, I can still grow thing, but when I first started growing facial hair, mate, I was growing big chompers like him.
Yeah, I actually liked it more when he was the bad guy, when he took over from Farouk and the Nation of Domination, those big chompers, and he was spitting when he was walking out, and he's swearing in the crowd kind of thing. I also liked too. It would have been like 2001 to about 2002 before he turned heel. and had that awesome Hollywood character, the little small ones.
Yep.
But he was a lot thinner and taller then as well, a lot more explosive.
Yes.
They're both
when he came back from Hollywood, he was really, it's almost like he wouldn't be a main eventer under Vince normally. Like he was almost skinny.
It was WrestleMania
like,
2004. He came back with a goatee.
Yep.
At New York, and he wrestled with Foley against Evolution. I was like, oh wow, he's lost heaps of weight. But then he comes back 15 years later for a main event. He's been in Hollywood for 10 years, and he's twice the size he was, and he can't move anymore. Or the way he used to move anyway.
Yeah. Nice little squash match there. It was over in about 30 seconds, but Big Boss Man comes in. He's
I think Test is about to join the corporation too, isn't he?
Well, I have
or
a
has he already left
feeling.
them?
No, he does, but I have a feeling that the Big Show joins them, doesn't he?
Oh,
Isn't
there's
this
so
a bit
many
of a
turns
ploy?
and
What does he do here? He takes out Test.
Bossman's gone as well. Oi.
He is too, yeah. Hey, you know, he follows me on Twitter. He probably follows you
Who's
too.
that?
No. Sorry, he doesn't. No, he's dead. No, I said, guess who follows me on Twitter?
Oh,
Sergeant Slaughter.
really?
Yeah. I was over the moon. What's happened? I followed him for years, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, he follows a lot of people.
Well, that's good. Like, I like people that do that. That, you know, famous people that follow people back. That, you know, take the time to, you know, talk about them or whatever it is. And
So I just missed that. I was looking away, but Big Show must have come down and saved Test, did he? Holy shit! You got some air there with the dropkick, old Big Show.
I think, I was actually looking at you while you were looking at your phone, while Jimmy Lufton was looking at the air.
Slaughter. I'll show you.
No, he's one of the nicest blokes in wrestling too, apparently, despite his 91 run when he joined the Infidels from Iraq or whatever you want to call them. But here comes The Rock.
There you go. Can you see that?
Yeah, I believe the internet that should show me.
Yeah,
that's awesome, dude.
But like, he's got like 90,000 followers, and he's following 61,000. So it's almost like anyone who follows him, he follows back.
That's a good ratio.
Imagine like following 61,000 people. Like, imagine your.
I don't think he checks his Twitter feed.
No, you wouldn't, would you? It obviously this is just for business. You're not. But he does reply. He does retweet people when he mentions them.
I think a lot of old wrestlers do that, man. That's like kind of their way of, you know, still connecting and feeling like that.
He seems like a good guy. So here's The Rock coming out for his first.
What a star!
First promo. Imagine the crowd. What they'd be.
Well, let's have a look at this promo because I need to duck out for a minute. So let's listen to this promo.
We're going to listen to The Rock here. He's about to take the mic, snatch it off someone like he normally does. Yeah, hey. The Rock and his first promo on his own show. Let's listen in.
He got out of them.
Shane McMahon, Triple H. Last Monday on Raw, you two jabronis decided to check both your candy asses in to the SmackDown Hotel. So you go on and let the great one be the first one to break the bad news to you two, Rudy. Like The Rock was saying, let him be the first one to break the bad news to you two, Rudy Poo Candy Asses. That you damn sure checked in, you two will damn sure check out. But you don't check out without a little departing gift from The Rock, which is his fist in your mouth and his foot in your ass.
Well, that's different than a mint on your pillow.
Now, as far as for you, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you and The Rock, tonight, tag team, make no mistake about it. You damn right we'll fight the fight. But we ain't partners, we ain't buddies, and we damn sure ain't friends. So if you so much tonight get in the Rock's way, this Brahma bull will dip his head, take his horns, and stick them straight up your ass.
Austin Pop.
Man, there's nothing better. Like I said last time, this would be something I'd want to go back for and experience.
Just have a guess, Dean. That hat, that's probably his most famous hat. How many do you reckon units of that hat do you reckon they sold worldwide?
Well, that hat, whoa.
Just that hat. How many do you reckon they sold? I mean, not as many as the shirt, like the famous shirt, but I reckon they would have sold.
Did you say like 100,000? Is that way over the top?
More than that around the world. I reckon 500,000. I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were outselling South Park at their peak. WWF was selling South Park as the #1 merch in America.
I love he's just walking around giving the Rock the finger.
Anyone who has witnessed the wars that these two men
And this is what fans want to see, man. They want to see kind of good guys that are badasses, and they don't have to stand there and cuddle and shake hands and all that stuff all the time. They're grown men. They're fighting for titles.
Here we go. Let's listen.
Let me come out here and get this straight right off the bat. Last week and tonight, you come out here talking all your trash about Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'll tell you this, you will always be, in my eyes, some punk kid running around out here spitting out nursery rhymes. Saying what you're going to do, turn your little horn sideways because you're the Brahma bull. Stone Cold Steve Austin will knock them stupid horns right off your head, wipe your ass, put you on a barbecue grill, and that's all I got to say about that.
What a timer.
we got company.
No chance. That's what you got. It's Shane McMahon.
Jeez, we need to get Shane again, though.
Shane made this matchup earlier tonight. Rock Austin against Triple H and The Undertaker. Isn't that cute? Look at the two of you. You can't get along. You want to tear each other's heads off. You make each other sick to their stomachs. And you know what? That is absolutely perfect. You know why? Because my plan is getting bigger and better as we speak.
Wait a minute.
So this is a big reveal.
That's The Undertaker's music again.
Somebody's going to be in trouble. I just don't know who.
The Phenom, The Undertaker. Jimmy standing side by side with Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon is standing side by side with The Undertaker, the man that abducted his
Boys, are you
sister.
beginning to understand? Are you beginning to feel the power?
Oh, the old laser
Well, let me
lights.
help spell it out for you just a little bit more. The Undertaker and Shane McMahon standing side by side.
Wait a minute.
There's Triple H.
Oh, yes!
It's the corporation and the Ministry of Darkness. My God, Michael, have they joined forces?
What the hell is going on? What does this mean?
What has Shane engineered here? What has Shane manipulated? It's a merger from hell.
The corporation and ministry standing together.
The corporate
as one
ministry. So this is the first time.
Austin, Rock, let me be the first to introduce you to the corporate ministry. Oh my God! And you guys better get it together and change your strategy.
I mean, it does make sense in the fact that Austin was so big that Vince and WWF needed more bad guys to feed to Austin.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, The Rock comes along as the next big thing. So you need more guys to feed to those two guys. So you need more bad guys. So it does make sense to merge the two together because how many months can you get out of sending corporate ministry, dum-dums in to fight The Rock and Austin over the next couple of months? Pretty good.
Yeah, 100%.
He's an underrated tag team.
Well, like it was a really good angle and how they play. Like they didn't get along, and X-Pac's, because Kane was always a he works alone, or he only had Paul Bearer. So how could he work in a tag team apart from when he made up with his brother? So I had this where they were fighting, and X-Pac, normally have a tag team partner turn on you. That's the end of the tag team normally, but he sort of understands and tries to work with him. And obviously they're the tag team champions; they've got to do something. But I actually enjoyed this. As one of my favorite tag teams.
It actually humanises Kane too and makes him easier to support, like as a good guy, like a kind of tweener in between. So, it gives him a bit of humanity, and it's like, like little things like that pushes Kevin Kelly out of the way, and you see funny little moments Kane has, and but it's all
draws.
Wow, there's draws.
Wow. And so Prince Albert, so he wasn't. I don't think Prince Albert was a wrestler at this stage.
No, he was a security guard or something backstage.
Yeah, yep. Have you seen? Is it? What was the documentary? Beyond the Mat.
There's Beyond the Mat, and then there's Wrestling with Shadows, which was Bret Hart's one.
No, so Beyond the Mat, where it was mostly around. Was it Mankind and the Rock's match, the I Quit match? Remember when the
Royal
Rocks
Rumble
hit him with
and Mankind's family's in the front row.
But they spoke to Droz and they showed Droz going in before he was a wrestler. So
he's gonna puke.
He's like, what was he? I forget what his name was that he was going to give him, but
puke.
You got a talent? Oh, I can puke on command. And he goes, well, let's see it. And then it's like Vince in his office. He's going, oh my God, he's going to puke. And then he's like spewing into this bucket. And that was his like, yeah, we could probably make a character around that. And I'm like, dude, like what? Someone that can puke.
Yeah, I think from memory, they were going to make him the third member of the Legion of Doom.
Oh, yep. Yeah, because that
as puke. It might have happened for a little bit, but I can't remember. But unfortunately,
it could have passed as like one of their sons.
Yeah. I mean, he's a former NFL player, so Vince loved him. But it's actually D'Lo eventually that does paralyze Droz and puts him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Oh, was it in a match with him, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay.
I think it might have been a power bomb gone wrong.
Yeah,
which can happen. So it's not, D'Lo's a good worker, but obviously the WWE have looked after Droz. And he actually is in. I don't know if you've seen the Wrestling with Shadows documentaries on SBS.
No, I haven't.
Oh, mate, you got to get.
Sorry, I have seen a couple. I've seen.
There's some really good stuff on there.
Got to get into them.
The Plane Ride from Hell and heaps of shit going back to Jimmy Snuka, killing his girlfriend and Vince covering it up with a suitcase of money and so much stuff. Oi, that might be the move that actually paralyzes Droz. Obviously, doesn't happen here, but D'Lo was good, man. And he'd lost a lot of weight. I remember him. He started as a bouncer for the Nation of Domination, and I reckon he would have been about, I don't know, probably legitimately 265.
Yep.
But he would have been 450. Here. He would have been 450 if I remember when Farouk was running Nation of Domination, mid '96. He was a big boy.
He's with AEW now.
D'Lo.
Is he, or is he still with WWE?
Last I saw, he was working with. He might be there now, but last I heard, he was with TNA.
Okay,
as a producer, but I could be wrong.
Love the head wobble. He put the arms out and he do the not quite the fatty head wobble, but it was still a pretty good head wobble.
Yeah, that is pretty good. I think there's one point, maybe 12 months from now, where he actually steals the boss man's vest and starts doing a frog splash with the vest on. And he just wears it everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, I suppose we should include it now, Dean. Who are you tipping on the weekend in the footy, mate?
Footy. So
while we've got this filler match on.
Yeah. The old filler match.
You got to think of who's playing now, don't you?
No. Friday night we've got Eels Raiders. Look, I think both matches this weekend are going to be close, but I'm not going to sit on the fan. I'm going to say I've picked the Eels. I think they win. I've picked them 1-12. I think both matches are going to be very close. Even taking like the from a betting point of view, Taking the Raiders with the start. I think they've got 6.5 start. I think it'll be very, very close. So
Good value.
But I think, yeah, look, Parramatta, like if I'm a Parramatta fan, are you just like shitting yourself watching this?
100%.
They're going to go out in straight sets.
I've got heaps of Parramatta fans, and they're all going, nah, we're losing this weekend.
Yeah, and it scares you, like knowing their record. You got in the ring a bit early there. You'd seen he had to wait for him to climb to the top. That's a big move. Yeah, I just think, I don't know, I think they showed enough in that first half and like even 50 minutes of that game against Penrith. I think Penrith win the whole thing, but I think they showed enough where they can come out and win this one. Although Raiders, the most dangerous thing in rugby league is a team that just plays without, they got no worries. Everyone expected Canberra to finish, whoever finished in that 8th spot, to come in, play a team like Melbourne or a team, even like Para or whoever's going to finish in that 5th spot and just get knocked out week 1. It's almost expected now. It's almost standard, right? Yet, Canberra have come in red hot, 5 wins in a row, won that, and they've just got no cares. They can just go out and play football, Like, if they lose, they lose. Like, they're doing it the hard way, but and that's a scary, scary thing for any team. A team that's just going to throw the ball around. But I think, Moses there. I think Parramatta get it. I think they get it, but it'll be a close one. So I'll take Para in that first one. Next one, these two teams are just battered and bruised after the weekend. Tired, very tired. I did the stats on the back rowers for Cronulla, and I think both Finucane and Wade Graham had like 45 plus tackles, and Nakora had 55.
Yep.
Brayley had 68 tackles, and Toby Rudolph running, I think he ran over like 180 metres and 32 tackles. Their forward pack's just tired, man. Yep. I don't know. That's a lot of extra work. That extra, like, people go, it's only 13 minutes, but it's 13 minutes after you've just played 80.
Yeah,
it's a lot of it's a lot. So I think they're probably going to be the worst off out of them all, and I think the Rabbits get the win here.
I'm disappointed in Cronulla. I know it was a golden point game, but I expected more from them. To give up 30 points, Cowboys are a good attacking team, but disappointed in them. And I'm like you, mate. I don't know which way. I'm 50-50 on Sharks Rabbitohs, but I mean, whatever happens this week, they're going to kill each other again, and whoever wins has to go through and play Penrith, right? So,
yep,
that plays into Penrith hand. Yeah, and then the first one, I'm not tipping Parramatta to win another finals game until they actually win one in week 2. So I'm all over Canberra. You're right, Canberra are playing, and they've got momentum and kind of not that expectation of the big teams. But I think I tweeted it during the game against the Storm. They were playing well, and then they lost their way when they were up by a little bit, as we're about to see Kane come in, and we'll get back to this in a sec. But Big Nuss went over for a try, and Storm took the lead back with about 20 to go, and I said, here we go, Canberra's going to start playing again. And they did, and they came over the top of them. So I'm all over Canberra this weekend. Lots of money on Canberra this weekend, Dean. I won't say how much, but lots.
Well, mate,
but just for the simple fact, like, I'm happy for Para if they go through. It's just money, right? But until they prove us wrong, Parramatta, I mean, that's the running joke, right? That's their gimmick. They get to the finals and kind of it's in their own heads as well.
Yes. Yep.
So let's see what happens with 20 to go, and at 16 all, or something goes against them, and there's a runaway try, and Jack Whiten, kicks a field goal or something. Let's see what kind of backbone they got. But until then, I'm all over Canberra. But I mean, Penrith, it's just perfectly set up for them. So
I think one of like, if you're we're both betting men. So for anyone out there, also gamble responsibly. Do not bet outside your means. We're not encouraging that. But I think the bet of the weekend, if you want to multi something up, is you take there's a try bet option, which is you can back either team to win under 2 points, 4 points, 6 points, 8 points, 10 points, and you get pretty good money. I think you get around $2 for under 10 points. If you want to go a bit risky, you can go get $2.75 for under 6 points. But I like going probably 10 points, If you multi both of them up, you're going to get like $4 or $5 for both games. To like the margin will be under 10 points for the winner. So it doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter who wins, but they'll win by less than 10 points. And I think that's
all right.
I don't mind that bet as a little multi.
Especially when the value is more than double your money back.
Yeah, I think both games are going to be very close. Wow, I cannot wait. It's the first week of football. There was games from there was a bash and barge, old style head highs, all that sort of shit. There was a game like that. There was a game with a lot of points. There was a game with felt like it was almost like a kicking duel between Parramatta and Penrith. The first 10 sets was just 5 tackles kick until someone got good field position.
And that's because coaches are letting players play again.
Yeah. It was
we don't
really
have robots.
We've
got footballers.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing for the juniors coming through too, because fuck knows how many juniors we lost to the game because in the last 10 years in development wise, because coaches wanted to make centers into second rowers and hookers into halfbacks or whatever.
Yep.
Now they're developing halfbacks again. They're developing hookers again and centers and fullbacks, and it's good for the game. I mean, we don't have time to go into what Volandis has done with the TV rights, but I really don't want to. That's a whole
I didn't even read up about it because I thought it was a bit of bullshit. But are they like Sue and Foxtel or something now?
Okay. So there was a handshake wink thing where they took a shitload less in COVID because Volandis said, we just need money now. So they took X amount of hundreds of millions of dollars, much less than what the value of the game is at, and just took it while the AFL, I think they got a loan out from the bank or something against, because they own Marvel Stadium or Colonial, whatever you call it in Melbourne. So they got money against that, and now they've waited for their TV deal. And because the NRL gave Fox on the cheap, Fox had extra money to give to the AFL, and because the NRL done it cheap for Channel 9, then Channel 9 had all this extra money to get rugby union and promote the shit out of that.
Yeah.
So we're fucked.
Yeah.
So,
but no, he's a good operator.
Yeah, sure. But Paul Heyman at ECW.
Yeah. You were talking about junior development. I watched this National Schoolboys Cup final today.
Yeah, I saw you promote that, man. That's good stuff.
It was Ipswich State High School versus Patrician Brothers. I don't watch this every year. I'm not going to act like I follow it, but I watched the standard of this football was top notch. And these kids running around. A lot of them are signed with clubs and things, but the standard football in that was red hot. So if you get a chance, anyone go back on. I think it's on NRL.com. You'll find it there and give it a watch. It's pretty good football.
Yeah, and just finally before we go back to this, because Kane's in the ring with
Mr.
Ass, but my team, the mighty St. Greg's, who have got more titles in schoolboys than anyone, disappointed them this year. So come on, boys, next year something. But you want to talk about
Patrician Brothers are big, though, aren't they? Like they're one of the big schools.
Yeah, definitely. I think they had Sterlo's old team or something. I can't remember, but they're a big club. So for Ipswich to do what they did, that's an underdog story. Definitely. It looks like you're doing some Googling there, mate. Is that right or not?
No, mate, I'm just filling my glass full of fine alcohol.
I was just going to say about Billy Gunn. Like, they gave him King of the Ring after this, didn't they? They gave him King of the Ring.
Would have been this year, yeah.
99, yeah. But he's a big boy. He could move. He had the looks. But he just couldn't talk, and he never got over.
No.
I mean, I reckon people will go, oh, yeah, he did not achieve what he could have in wrestling. I reckon he overachieved. Because he was a skinny, he was obviously all wrestlers get bigger as they get older for different reasons, obviously, in pro wrestling. But he started out in the smoking guns with Bark Gun, and he was a lot smaller than this. So I reckon he actually overachieved in the end, and he had a good career.
It's probably the thing where you look at him and you go, if you look at him and then you look at Mick Foley and you go, who was a WWE champion?
That's the Vince.
9 out of 10
that's the Vince mindset,
man. Ass, right? Yeah, and that's the same with me. Like I look at Val Venus and go, how did he not have a main event run? But there's certain, obviously they know better than we do, but you just look at him, you go, like, you just think, I thought Val Vance was a decent worker. I enjoyed his matches. He had the look, he had some good promos, but it just, maybe he just couldn't do it for a long length of time. And really, does the porn star gimmick, how long does it last? You've got to change it up and build it up. Well, the same as Mr. Ass. Mr. Ass, it's still a bit of a gimmick, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
With the name Billy Gunn, surely you could have
I'm just thinking off the top of my head,
something.
just as a booker for a minute. And again, Billy Gunn would need a good mouthpiece, but you could make him turn like. I know they're bad guys here, but they're still good guys, like in a sense, because it's 1999.
They're like the anti-heroes, really.
Yeah, they're cool bad guys, right?
Yeah,
but if you wanted to make Billy Gunn a true bad guy and get him hated in this time, get him to, like, I don't know, turn on everyone, come out the next week, and everything's like pure black tights or pure white tights.
Yep.
And then he's completely against sexuality and being a dickhead and all that stuff, and he could call himself Mr. William Gunn or something like that.
Yep.
And cut his hair but again,
how good would that be? If he shaved his hair, like a crew cut, not a crew cut, but even like a flat top, like a real nice slick haircut.
Yeah, you could do it's very similar.
You
could do the same with the albinos.
Nice shirt, tie even. It'd be like, it's Mr. William Gunn, thank you.
But at the end of the day, it does come down to the one thing, and Vince finally caved in for Mick and gave him a title. It's because of merchandise and how the crowd reacts to you.
Yep.
The crowd decides everything, right? So, I mean,
Yeah,
when John Cena came in as a
Road Dogg here.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He's ex-serviceman as well. I think he did a couple of tours in '91 to Iraq as well. Yeah, but the crowd gets everyone over, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
He was scary, Kane, back then, eh?
He was. I remember
How much did they fuck that up when they took the mask off him and he was just a bald bloke with no scars on his face?
Terrible. So this is so the ending here. We got to watch this because a few things going on. So obviously, Kane's got X-Pac as well.
This is for the titles.
Yeah, it's for the titles. So they look like they've almost got it over him. Oh, but they were sort of feuding, or not feuding, but you know how they tease like a breakup before the thing. They were talking about what's it like going up against your old friend X-Pac, and Road Dogg's like, yeah, it's going to be tough. He's a good friend, blah blah blah. Billy Gunn's like, there's no friends here. We're talking about titles. We've got to stop this sort of shit.
So hang on. So X-Pac was still in DX, but champions with Kane. Is that right?
That was still There was DX. There was no DX anymore because Triple H had joined Corporation.
No, you're right.
Yep. So they were still. That's the thing. So this was where it was confusing. They were still friends, and here he is trying to break up. Him hitting X-Pac.
Yeah, but again, that's when titles meant something.
Yeah,
doesn't matter who.
That's where Road Dogg hits the leg of Billy Gunn, causes the loss, and I think they go through a breakup here. X-Pac and Kane retain the titles. It's almost like Kane's not happy with it because he didn't get the finish. Like X-Pac's trying to steal his thunder.
Yeah, I think Jim said something like X-Pac gave him the assist, something like that.
Like
but would you say this is character development of Kane learning how to be a teammate as well?
Yeah,
maybe.
Yep.
There's me boy. Here's a fun fact for you about Kane. Talking about how much of a psycho Vince is. To make Kane more human or more merchandise or something, it might have been just before the mask came off. Vince had the idea to change Kane's colours to blue and yellow.
Oh. Wait, did I see that?
Pretty sure that's true.
Because
it never happened, obviously.
No, was it green? No, didn't they want to put him in a part of DX and make him green?
Oh, maybe. But the one I heard years later was blue and yellow. But
it could have been
green and yellow would have been awesome.
A lot of colour schemes, but I'm sure I've seen a photo, and obviously it's just been photoshopped from someone, but the talk was that they wanted him to join DX and make it green
I would have
and
actually
black.
done that. I would have done it and get him come out in green
mate,
and yellow at least for one night.
That's another year of just, storyline there. This is a breakup. If you're watching there, you saw the breakup. Let's I want to. I cheated here. I want to. Old Michael Hayes in the ring, introducing the Brood. I just want to bring up. I want to listen to this when they come in.
Yeah, go for it.
Obviously, because I've just I'll preempt it.
Another great jam from the 90s, mate.
Yeah. When you hear this and you're like, yeah, know what that is. So these guys, part of the Brood, Edge, Christian, and Gangrel. Gangrel was, I suppose, the leader of the Brood, but they were in the Ministry, and they were just sort of minions, weren't they? They'd never really done any promos or anything like that. They weren't, they might have wrestled a few matches and things, but they'd never really spoken. So what we're going to listen to is Edge's first promo, but we're going to listen to all of them when they speak. Just listen to Gangrel. Gangrel's very green on the mic here, when they switch to Edge, just listen to the difference and how confident and how if you know now what Edge has done in the business, but if you watch this as their first promo, you're like, no wonder why, because he was such a fucking so good on the mic, right? So let's listen in here.
Waited for what seems like an eternity for the Brood to finally break their silence. Center stage is yours.
The Brood initially has not spoken by our own choice, and then later it was forbidden by the Undertaker. Well, when the Brood entered this world, we craved a guidance, that guiding light to show us the way, and that was the Undertaker. Well, unfortunately, the Undertaker's thoughts and feelings were not the same as ours. For in the darkness, we seek a much different light. We live our collective lifestyles for who we are and what we believe in this search of the mystery of life and the hereafter. And the power is what we seek. And it's within all of us. And we just have to unleash it.
Well, with all due respect, some say they don't understand your lifestyle, and others, quite frankly, think the Brood are basically off the chart.
They will understand. Understanding is just a matter of time. The power lies within us, and it's up to us to find it. We are who we are, the unholy trio, and we will become what we will become. For those who believe, will follow. For those that don't, will merely exist. So, Doc, I suggest that you beware. Take care, because the freaks come out at night.
Look. I don't know what y'all are smoking, but if you ask me, seriously, it's nothing but a gimmick. You're just trying to get attention on yourselves.
A gimmick, Doc? Is that what you see? Well, we don't care what you think. We know who we are and what we're capable of. You seem to be the one that's confused. Isn't that right, Michael?
Oh, Doc Hendricks.
Wait a minute.
Doc Hendricks, at one time known as Michael P.S. Hayes.
Hey, Doc is dressed like my nan for some reason.
I know, it was such a weird dress. But I think they did it to make him look like prim and proper and all that because of what happens here. He gets doused in the blood. But
you're right, though. Like, Gangrel's shit then.
He was so nervous, I think, because it was like his first time. I think it's the first time he'd spoken or done a promo in WWE as Gangrel. You can see here. So, Michael Hayes, but Doc? Was he known as? He was known as Doc, wasn't he?
Yeah. So when he came to WWF, he was like obviously Michael Hayes from the Freebirds.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a job, so Vince goes, "I'll take you as a interviewer, but you've got to cut your hair and we're going to change your name. So I think his name was Doc. Not Doc Neeson. That's the Angels. I can't remember his name, but it was Doc something.
Real quick. Ken Shamrock, Lions Den. Love him.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Man,
Mate, he
was
said he got
close.
someone in an ankle lock one night, and I thought he snapped it because they talked it up like he'd snapped it. And if you watch it back, the way he like twists it made it look like it was legitimately snapped. I forget who it was. It might have been like maybe one of the guys from Too Cool, maybe Brian Christopher or but look, Gangrel. He's just. It seemed like he was like, oh my god, I'm a bit nervous. He stuttered a little bit. He was a bit off. But then when Edge came on, it was like clear, and you just tell he was so confident. And he was like, if anyone watching this for the first time went, who's the leader of that group, and they watch that promo, I go Edge.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like I'm sure Vince watched that backstage and said, all right, well, Gangrel's fucked now. I mean, it doesn't take much, but. I mean, in that situation, if you have your time over, you probably just let Gangrel not talk. Yeah. And let the other two guys just attack him or whatever.
Oh, APA. How good were these guys? Well, they weren't APA here. It was the...
Acolytes.
Acolytes. Sorry. But this is... Bradshaw. So this is one of the... Probably the beginning of him as a singles run. Like sort of the end of... The Acolytes, was it?
Well, they were the Acolytes. They were bad guys, and then they were APA after this till 2004, I think. They actually wrestled at WrestleMania 2004 as the APA, and I think he becomes JBL, and he actually says to Farouk, I'm going to go along without you after this.
Yeah.
And then he becomes JBL and beats Eddie Guerrero for the title out of nowhere.
But 2004. I don't think the Brood with Gangrel as the leader really lasted that long, did they?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Because not long after this, it was like Edge and Christian, and was it 2000?
Then the Dudleys came in.
Yeah, was it
the
2000
Dudleys
that
and
was
the Hardys?
The TLC match?
Well, they were a tag team. They were actually. So Edge and Christian. I think by the 2000 Royal Rumble, which is one of my favorite Rumbles. Which includes Cactus Jack versus Triple H for the title, and Rock eliminates Big Show as well. Edge and Christian were both babyface, kind of like full baby faces. The crowd was full into them. This is a strange combination of two guys in the ring. Big Bradshaw against a Matt Wrestler and Shamrock.
I know, and Shamrock was always, the undie trunks, not jean shorts and a shirt. So it's almost like is he meant to be in here or?
I don't know.
Match. Yeah,
it makes him look a bit bigger too. I always thought Shamrock, if he was just a little bit taller, probably would have won the world title.
Oh yeah.
Vince was always about big bodies, right? And Shamrock was so close. He was always IC champion. He was in a couple of title matches and stuff like that when they had a filler month kind of thing. But if he was just a bit bigger, I reckon Vince loved him. But
bad camera angle for that punch. Did you see that? He lined up for a punch and went to hit him in the head and just like stopped and changed his fist, changed it from a fist to an open hand and just like sort of light tapped him. The two guys and the two shirtless guys.
Put your shirts back on, boys.
The crowds back then.
Yeah, you know why? You know why he's dressed like this? Because at the start of the show they said this is a street fight.
Oh, okay.
So he's got the street fight clothes on, which I hate these days. They do a street fight and they're all in their trunks.
Yep.
And it just makes it all look a little bit too clean.
True, yeah.
If you're in a street fight,
you should be dressed like
street clothes,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, that's the idea. It's like it's not a ring. It's not a match. You're not going to,
And I think the only reason Bradshaw's not in street clothes is because he's still part of the ministry or whatever, right? So
that's his normal attire. Like he's giving off the image that that's what he wears every day of the week.
Yeah. Oi. Well, they've done that twice now. But he is going for his ankle lock, isn't he?
Yeah, he will, yeah.
I don't think... So this is after 99 WrestleMania. Shamrock doesn't get another WrestleMania match.
Oh, really?
He's done. Yeah, he's not at 2000.
Well, he goes back to the UFC.
Mm.
He fights... Like I know this is around the same time that he fights like Tito Ortiz.
Well, that's back in UFC when you could fight different weight divisions, couldn't you? Like a heavyweight, it'd be like open invitation. You could have
in the very early days. I reckon 99 would have been weight division, so there would have been like
okay. I'm thinking way back at the start when you had karate guys versus sumos and shit like that.
Yeah. Oh man, have you ever watched like the very first UFC?
Yeah, my brother bought all the DVDs. I couldn't believe it.
like the box. So it was like all the different martial arts, right? There was a boxer, there was a kickboxer, there was a sumo. The boxer, he comes in with one glove and one bare hand, and he's like, I don't know. He might have fought like I can't remember who, but they got him down to the ground. He just couldn't do anything with the glove, and he just ends up like tapping out because he couldn't do anything. But so Ken Shamrock.
Well, before Dana got his fingers into it too.
Yeah,
right?
So Dana got a hold of it, put on the Ultimate Fighter, and the Ultimate Fighter very first finale. That video went viral, and that's what exploded the UFC. But I remember back in these days when he was fighting in UFC, I wasn't a big UFC fan, but I knew about it. But we
there's your mate.
Oh, Sergeant Slaughter, yeah.
No, don't touch him. You bastard.
Follows me on Twitter, man. Leave him alone. There was an old thing called Bushido, and it was in he's Mankind in the Boiler Room. Bushido was in Japan, and it was like before the days of Pride MMA, where there was like you could kick when in the UFC when you're on the ground you can't kick to the head and all that sort of stuff. Back then it was like foot stomps, there was everything to the head. It was like almost really no holds barred. And Bushido was in Japan, and it was mental. And it was like on it. Remember we signed up for Fox, or back then it was Ozstar. We're going back with
Ozstar. Yeah, that's back when I had Galaxy.
Oh, Galaxy. Yeah, there was there Optus TV. That was around that time too.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But Ozstar, and we'd go down to the local electronics store with our card. Old mate would send the chip. He'd do something with the chip. And you plug it back in, you get all the free pay-per-views.
yeah.
Until like you get it for like maybe 3 or 4 months, and they'd send down a signal and it'd blast your card, and then you have to go back and pay another $50 to this bloke. But it was good because you get all the boxing pay-per-views, and this is around the time Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, some of the big heavyweights. You get all the wrestling pay-per-views. So I remember like skipping school for WrestleMania 2000. Going back to my house was just like around the corner from the school. So it'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to class, sir. And then bang, out the gate, down to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He's Big Boss Man doing the fucking twirl. How good was that? Like a chill hitter.
In Cobb County.
And yeah, Bushido was on at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And we just set the recorder. And it used to always get us in trouble because before you go to bed for night time, you'd have to take the card out of the thing to avoid it getting blasted during the night.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the card out of the Ozstar box, but you have to keep it in to record Bushido, which was I don't know, like Saturday night at 2 a.m. But it was massive. So that got me into MMA.
I have to have a look. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Bushido was like big back in the late 90s. End up turning into Pride.
Okay,
so,
all right.
Where Pride had a
Japanese love their fucking like just real stuff, man.
Brutal stuff.
They love it real.
Hey, I'll tell you what I got into a couple of months ago was the sumos.
Yeah, right.
So
big over there, eh?
They are massive. So they have tournaments every couple of months. And I'll tell you what. I'll get onto this in a second, but I think Mick Foley just did it like a double arm DDT. One of my favourite moves. We need to get into what our favourite moves are. Yeah, sumos. Really quick matches. Really fun to watch. My kids were watching it. They were loving it. It is really exciting. Like, you just think two fat guys going head-to-head, like, trying to push each other out of the ring. But he's actually pretty exciting. So
they're the strong motherfuckers,
They
man.
are, mate. Oh, I would not like to go.
And that's like that has to be like I'm just guessing here, but one of the most prehistoric contact sports in the world, right? Because Japan Japan history. Like they are an old country.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You'd have to look into the history of it, but
you know how far back. Like you go back Romans and gladiators and all that sort of stuff, but I wonder how far like the Japanese sumo went back. That'd be interesting to find out. Actually,
it's a very confrontational country, man. Like you think of, I don't want to go into like history and shit like that, but the samurai and you know they wanted to take over China, and Korea lived in their shadow for hundreds of years, and they ruled Korea and all this stuff. Very brutal country.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but look, say even they've even merchandising his sock out now. How good's that?
Yeah. This was like massive merch time, wasn't it? Did you ever buy the Stone Cold shirts or like any shirts?
No. So
I had a couple of Stone Cold shirts, and man, I wish I never got rid of them.
I remember watching. Well, we just did the pay-per-views, right? But I remember when they finally converted me from WCW in high school. Oh, all right.
So
the story continues.
Billy Gunn run into the dressing sheds, the locker room, to confront X-Pac. Kane comes in to save him. So this is part of the storyline where you're right, where it's trying to humanize Kane, right? Where he confronts him. He wants. There's a spit from The Rock. Kane wants to chokeslam X-Pac in the ring, but then he comes in to save him in the locker room. So
I don't know how anyone could still think to this day that The Rock was a bigger star than Austin. I mean, Austin was just the tits, man. But anyway, let's listen to these entrances.
Yeah, because I'm going to duck the water too.
Yep, me too.
So, okay.
Let's turn the entrances up.
Yeah. We'll be back, guys.
There's Triple H in China along with the Mean Street Posse.
Tag team competition scheduled for one fall. Making his way to ring and accompanied by the ninth wonder of the world, China, from Greenwich, Connecticut, weighing in at 250 pounds, Triple H.
As we get set for perhaps the greatest tag team match in the history of the WWF, where is Shane McMahon?
Well, that's a very good question. His buddies are here, but we don't see the head honcho. But we're going to see four of the most diverse personalities ever to engage in a tag team match right here tonight, Michael. But will it turn into every man for himself? Or is it some kind of plot or setup or trap? These guys just cannot get along.
And his tag team partner, being accompanied by Paul Bearer, weighing in at 326
Our question has been answered.
The Undertaker.
I never thought I would see Shane McMahon and The Undertaker shoulder to shoulder, and apparently, Jim, we have seen the forming of an unholy alliance right here tonight on SmackDown.
And they are in cahoots, and The Undertaker, who organized the Ministry of Darkness, who terrorized Vince McMahon's family and attempted to control the WWF by extortion, has now joined forces with Shane's corporation to form the corporate ministry.
Shane McMahon is deemed as such, the corporate ministry. The Undertaker and Shane McMahon, the son of Vince McMahon, who's run this company for 2 decades. And what have we seen?
And now we're about to see probably the two greatest entrances in WWE history.
And their opponents, first from Miami, Florida, weighing in at 275 pounds.
I actually love The Rock doing this entrance better as a good guy. You know, he's still strutting and spitting. Instead of, he charges out and gets to that top rope.
Monday night on Raw, because Shane McMahon said The
bad
Rock
motherfucker.
failed him in his battle against Austin at Backlash.
This is before the days where he used to stand there and like smell the electricity and build it up and just get out the ring. But here we go, the greatest probably right now.
The Undertaker and Triple H, apparently their only bond, their only link, being Shane McMahon.
They're cornering The Rock, and he slips out from the middle of them.
And The Rock now hammering away on Triple H. And right now, folks, we've got a 2-on-1. The Rock's partner, Stone Cold Steve
He's not coming out
Austin, but
yet.
the Rattlesnake is nowhere to be found.
There we go.
Yes.
And look out! Here comes the cavalry! The Texas Rattlesnake! Taking it out!
And there's little things, Dean, I miss too, where, like, I know it's a little thing, right, because it's supposed to be fake, but back then, you were supposed to punch with an open fist, right?
Yep.
So I always thought that The Rock and Scott Hall had the best punches. And a referee, if you kept punching with a closed fist, the ref would stand there next to you and go, 1, 2, and then go, no more closed fist, no more closed fist.
Yeah, yep.
Like, just little things. Those little things that the ref would do that makes it more legitimate.
Yeah, you don't really see that much anymore, do you? Like where they're
They
counting
just
the
everyone
1,
just
2, 3.
accepts everything. It's
Yeah.
just crap. So from memory, like if he's on top of him doing the Luther's press and he's punching him, the ref gives him a 5 count, right? Because if you're throwing closed fists on top of him and you're not going to do a pin, then you've got to get off him, don't you?
Yeah, yep.
You're right. Triple H looks fucking red hot here, mate.
I'm a huge fan of the long pants, not just the trunks. I don't know, just maybe it's just I don't want to see guys in their undies, but
no, I know, but the whole point of the short tights is it makes you bigger. So the more skin you show, the bigger you look.
Yes, yep.
And then if you've got a fat guy and rest in peace again, like a Mabel who ended up being Viscera or Big Daddy V or whatever, that doesn't really have the body shape of a Triple H or a Big Show or whatever, then you cover him up and then he looks more intimidating because he looks scarier than what he would if he was showing all his fat.
Yes.
So I think Triple H puts on a little bit more weight as he gets older. And then because his legs, you remember too, when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley or terrorizing in WCW, his legs he wasn't scrawny bottom half, but he had to really work on his legs as well. So I think this is just kind of a little bit more work in the gym. Then he goes, all right, I'm ready to unleash these pins.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Sounds a little bit sexual, but
that's right.
I like the tights. I reckon
that.
You know what would be cool? Like we get one of those retro Raws, and Triple H comes out as Hunter Hearst Helmsley in his old tights and goes like this in front of
does the old
crowd. That'd be
yeah.
just as a joke. That'd be awesome.
A great match here.
And in the late 90s too, Triple H was a really good bad guy because he could feed the good guys. He was a bit quicker,
yep,
and a bit more nimble. So, you know, a good guy can build the heat, and it was believable that Triple H is on their level. But then when so The Rock comes in now, right? So Triple H is gonna bump around the ring here, and he could do it, and it looked a little bit more believable. Oh, I'll take that back. I think he might get the heat here. Yeah, he's going to bring in the big dog.
You probably got some of the greatest sellers too here in the ring at the moment. Like they could all sell the moves.
Undertaker doesn't get enough credit. He's 7 foot tall and he sells like a featherweight. He's just amazing.
Like he's a big guy, right? He's like 7 foot.
Oh, realistically, I think he was always 6'9", 6'10".
No, but yeah, you go like he was billed as 7 foot or whatever, and you come up against a Rock, and the Rock hits him with a shot, and he sells it. He sends him back, and the Rock. I don't know if you'll find someone that sells, apart from probably Scott Hall, that sold a stunner better than him. Actually, someone pointed out, and I have to agree. Austin Theory. Currently in WWE,
yeah, Money in the Bank
sells a stunner very, very well.
I think I saw it. Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens is doing the stunner.
Kevin Owens is doing it. I think I've got a clip. I might try and send it to you. He sells it so good. There's one where you remember there was I suppose the most popular, biggest ones you see the old double clothesline. How good's that?
Scott Hall does a mad one, but he sells it differently than The Rock. Scott Hall goes on his back.
Yep. Where Rock sort of does a double flip going back. Austin Theory sold this one maybe 2 weeks ago against Kevin Owens, where he hits it and then he stands back up and then just falls like a tree trunk back. And it is like, it's magnificent. It's really well done.
Well, two of the weirdest son I've ever seen is Vince, because he's never been able to take his son up.
No,
but William Regal, and it might have been because of an injury, he takes it and takes it forward, but it keeps his feet, but then snaps back really quickly. And I just thought that was a really weird way to take it. But going back to what you were talking about these workers in the ring, and that's what the top workers do. They don't want to hurt their opponents.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's rubbish. Why would you have a running DQ on your first SmackDown? That's crap. But
I don't think he's called a DQ, though, is he?
Yeah, he just called it.
Did he? Who's coming down? Because everyone's cheering. Oh, here we go. Everyone's...
But yeah, so the best workers don't hurt each other, right? But it looks like Undertaker's headbutting you, but it doesn't hurt at all. And that's what you want to do. The sign of a good wrestler is that you don't hurt your opponent ever. And that's why people like the Ultimate Warrior and people like that cop heat. And even Hangman Page in AEW right now, apparently he's copping heat backstage because he works really stiff. And he hasn't learned anything from wrestling, and he's not learning to work lighter, kind of thing. But I suppose, but you talk about why do you need to run in on your first show, but this was everything back then. Every episode was almost a run-in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it went on to next week.
Yeah.
And even there, see, Undertaker holds Austin's back.
Yep.
So it looks like a good chokeslam, but he's also looking after his neck as well.
Here comes Vince, so...
Oh!
What have I done? Hit my own son.
So this is where
and
the
now,
screw job
he's
comes
saving Stone Cold like he's...
So, okay, so you're telling
me...
Oh, all right, I'm going to watch this out, but please don't tell me Vince joined Shane after taking a chair shot. Because that's very Vince Russo, who's still at the company at this point, I think.
Well, he does. I don't know how long after this, but he reveals himself as the architect behind the whole...
But that's the whole Vince Russo thing. Like, he does swerves and tricks you for the sake of it.
Yep.
But if they're really planning stuff and concocting stuff backstage during the week to fuck with Austin...
There we go. Stone Cold.
Why would Vince go, yeah, I'll take a chair shot off you?
Here we go. Stone Cold will deliver one to Shane McMahon here. Save Vince.
Shane used to cop a good son or two.
Yeah.
His punches were better then than 20 years later.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Hey. Give us your... Like, I know we're not going to... Because we don't show the video, but show us your fingers. When you do a finger...
Yeah. Oh, do you mean how do
you do them? Because fuck
I've got like an angled.
Do you do it like that? Like fucking.
Yeah,
Stone
I've got
Cold,
the same as you. That's how I do it.
Yeah, Stone Cold does the best fingers.
Yeah, how many brother used to do it? So I've got 4 brothers, but so this is not for the listeners at home. But my brother, as a kid, used to go like this. Like
what?
Teenage
Like
Mutant Ninja Turtles. I go, what the fuck is that? It's like that knife the Ninja Turtle had.
So we're finishing off the show. Stone Cold's just stunned Undertaker and then saved Vince from getting a beatdown from his own son and stunned Shane McMahon.
But look, I know you love Triple H, but surely you could have got Triple H pinned there in the main event and then done all this after.
Yeah, 100%. You didn't need the run-in. I agree with that. But he comes in, he still, does his old...
Because it wouldn't have hurt Triple H at that point, because you're still going over later, but...
And he's still giving it to Vince, too.
So in storyline, I can make... Sometimes in wrestling, you have to make your own believe. So I look at that and think, okay, maybe Vince isn't in cahoots right here, and maybe he took the chair shot, but then because Austin poured beer on him and stunned him, maybe that's what made Vince turn and actually join Shane after that. That would make more sense to me than saying that Vince goes, Undertaker hit me with a chair shot to make Austin believe that I'm against Shane.
Well, all I remember is when he comes out and he flips the hoodie over and he goes, "It was me, Austin. It was me all along." And it was like,
oh, that's right.
Do you remember? And he's
yeah,
like,
no,
it was
I do.
him
So why
planning.
would you take?
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very good episode. Good pick, Dean.
It is a very good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was a great one. I think we need to do this more regularly because it's very. I tell you what, it's very easy content because you're reacting to something and you don't have to think too much. But hey, maybe in the off season when there's no World Cup, after the World Cup, we'll probably do a few more of these.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Depending on
I'm shocked you're not going to the World
reaction.
Cup. You're not going to the World Cup as a guest of some betting agency or something, dude?
Jeez, I wish. Mate, it's expensive to go over the UK these days.
No, but I thought someone would cover it for you.
Nah,
You've got connections, mate.
I've got a couple of connections, but no, I'll enjoy it from my... Mate, some weird times. Some, like, what is it? Like, there's games from, 12 o'clock midnight through to, 7 o'clock? 7 or 8 o'clock or something?
Yeah, I think from memory, the 2013 World Cup in England, the times weren't too bad. They're not that far behind. So, if you're a night owl, it's going to be easy for you to watch it. But there's a lot of ones where you kind of go, all right, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. to watch it. And you have, one too many beers the night before and you turn your alarm off and go, fuck it, I'll watch it later. There'll be a lot of that.
I might have, I think I scheduled I put the schedule in my calendar because I was like, I want to know what times it is here.
I think there's a lot of day games. Day games work better for us. I'm pretty sure.
It's like the third. What is it? Second. Yeah, here we go. So the first game that kicks off for the men's World Cup. Now I know there is the women's World Cup and the wheelchair World Cup and all that sort of stuff. But just on the men, so the game kicking off is England versus Samoa at
Newcastle. Yeah,
12:30 in the morning.
That's all right.
At Newcastle.
I'll watch that.
At 5:30 in the morning, Australia versus Fiji. So it's like
replay.
What do? Do you stay up and watch the opening game and go to bed at 2 o'clock, or do you try and go to bed early and get up at 5:30 and watch Australia versus Fiji?
Oh,
so here's the question, right? I would probably rather, because I'm a night owl, I'd probably rather stay up and watch, but then I want to watch Australia play, and Fiji's got a decent side.
Yeah. And that's the hard part too, is because of social media. It's like a fuck show. Like,
if you wake up in the morning, and me running the roast, I want to cover the games. I want to show some highlights before anyone else does. I want to do the scores, all that sort of stuff. You can't. So fuck. I might not get sleep from middle of October through the end of November.
Well, the 81st minute, mate, we don't give a shit. We just, if we go to ground, there'll be no post for 4 days. It's all on me, mate. So, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but no.
But here's the thing, so for me, I love football. I watch. I was intrigued. I think the end of October or something. There's or maybe even before. It might even be the end of September. The Netherlands are playing a combined European.
They're playing Germany a test match as well.
Yeah. And I was talking to Jimmy Smith the other day, and he mentioned I've spoken with Steve Mascord. Have you would have spoken to Steve, wouldn't you?
Yeah, mates with Masco. Yeah.
I've only ever spoken to him through socials, but they're doing a call of a warm up match between Tonga and France.
Yeah.
It'll be the week before the start of the World Cup, so there's no football on, so it's a great time to have a match. Great for a rugby league page. We get content, all that sort of stuff. Been in contact with them, and it's at 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But we'll cover that. We'll jump in. I want to, any sort of football in the off season is great. I remember it was February. The Netherlands were playing someone, and I did some lookalikes. I did. Here's this guy. He looks like this guy. He looks like this guy. And how about this try? Fans loved it. They frothed over it. So there's games like this at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. There is, I'm just getting a call from the missus, so the kids are going to bed right now. Jamaica versus Ireland. Now, I want to see Jamaica play. Ireland's got Luke Keary's going to play. There's going to be some decent players in that squad.
Jamaica will surprise some people. They're going to get flogged in a couple of games, but they get. It's cool. It's cool.
It's
and
cool,
they will try hard.
It's cool runnings. No one gave them a shot in the fucking Olympics, however long ago. Just watch a game. Just Fucking set
Well,
your alarm.
you know who
Get up and watch the
I'm
game.
adopting Greece. Do you know why I'm adopting Greece? Because they're obviously going to have some guys like Billy Magoulias.
What did you ask me if you didn't even give me a chance to answer, mate?
Sorry, I thought you did. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Because they've got guys like Billy Magoulias and... No.
Yes. The War Food, Jamaica.
No. Yeah, so you're adopting Greece. Why?
No, you go. I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, I was
My missus tells me all the time. I'm always cutting her off.
No, I was taking the piss. You're like, have a guess why I'm taking Greece, and then you just continued on without even me allowing me to have a guess.
It was one rhetorical question. No, but they if you don't know the Greek story, they qualified during their qualification period, which goes for like 18 months to make the World Cup. For those teams that have to go through the European Championship and qualify and go through tournaments against other European countries, they were banned by the Greek government for playing rugby league in their own country.
Yeah, I remember.
So they actually had to go and play home games in other countries and qualified. And the best part is, instead of other countries like England take a Victor Radley or a Jackson Hastings and shit just for the sake of it, short-term stuff, the Greeks, half their squad are taking development players from their local competition, which I think is awesome. That's mad.
I like that.
That's pure. And I think
we're Greeks representing Greece in the World Cup.
Well, my second youngest brother is about to have a child with a Greek, so I'm on him all over. But I think his name's Stuart McLennan. He had something to do with Newtown Jets back in the day, but he is a pro international guy. And correct me if I'm wrong, if it's not it's Stu McLennan. I'm just going to go with that. But
I've heard that name.
He promotes Greek football. If you can follow him on social media and stuff like that. I really haven't had nothing to do with him personally, but he's just done a really good job promoting and getting the information out there about them and clubs like Jamaica and stuff like that. I think next year the America's Cup, which is America, Canada, who both didn't qualify legitimately, got beat by Jamaica. Next year, the America's Cup between those three nations is going to be actually played in Jamaica, which is awesome for Jamaican football. I don't know what kind of crowds they'll get, but stuff like that. But there's so many people, like Steve Mascourt, he's pro international football, right?
He loves it.
I mean,
he was an Aussie that just loves fucking football, right?
Yeah, and he was an Aussie that moved to England, always had a soft spot for England. I think he found out that his biological family or something were English, and he's moved over there and he lives there now. And obviously covers Super League more than anything, but he's pro international football, right? So there's so many people out there like Chasing Ruse. I mean,
they're great. They do a lot for even the real small ones like Kenya, Jamaica, all those little guys. Yeah.
And then there's another website called Rugby League Planet who covers international stuff as well. So there's always football out there. I remember doing a game for the sake of it years ago. I can't remember what station it was for. I was on the sideline in pissing, shitting rain in the middle of winter at Campbelltown Stadium commentating South Africa versus Niue. I mean, like, it's just opportunities like that.
Niue or Norway?
Niue. They're like an island off New Zealand with a population of like
Niue,
yeah. Niue. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's always footy
not
out
like
there,
Niue
guys.
as in Newcastle. It's Niue.
No. Niue, Niue.
Yeah.
There's always footy out there, guys. It doesn't have to be NRL. There's always something out there for you. So help the international game. Have a look. Pick a club. There's, Brazil women's team's going to be in the World Cup. They're getting local news.
And they're not always
in
in the middle of the night. There's some, like that Netherlands, I think it was like at 11 o'clock at night. Like, I know that's still late, but it's like, if you are a bit of a night owl, like I don't normally go to bed before 1 o'clock most nights, which is bad for my health, but I still do it.
Touche.
Mate, there's you can catch these games over the Netherlands in all these random places where they're live streaming it now. So jump on board because it's not NRL quality, but hey, if you want to, you go watch your local clubs play football. It's pretty decent compared to that. So get in, support it. There's guys you won't know, but they're playing it for the love of it, and it's some really good football. I do love it. But yeah, World Cup, like Monday, Like I was saying, there's a game at 12:30. There's a game at 3 a.m. There's a game at 5:30. Then on Tuesday, there's another game at 5:30. Wednesday, 5:30. Thursday, 5:30. No games.
That's the way to do it too. Don't spread
There's
it out.
games
Get
every
it done.
day, right? So all you got to do is get up every morning around 5:30. You get to watch a game, catch up on the games that have been played before if you want. And then Friday you'll have 3 games back to back. Sunday, same thing. It's crazy. There is some.
With you.
I think I'm going to have some late nights there. There'll be some late nights, but it'll be good.
Go and put your kids to bed, mate.
Mate, this is our longest episode. We're hitting 1 hour 45 minutes.
It was a good idea until you said, "Oh yeah, it goes for an hour and a half." I went, "Oh shit."
It was good.
That's all. I've got no kids,
I
mate.
loved it.
My wife's already asleep, so I'm good.
I did love it. Hopefully, the fans loved it. Let us know. But mate, I think we need to do this once a month, maybe not once a month, once every 3 or 4 episodes, once every 2 months.
Well, I'll pick a WCW one for you. You want a good WCW one?
You do that. I reckon that because.
Do you want a good one or a shit one?
I think no. To be fair, I think we need to do a good one first.
All right.
And then we'll go.
We'll let the punters pick the next one after that or something.
100%.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Legend. Thanks, listeners, and hope you enjoyed the show. And let us know feedback. Send us a tweet. Let us know what you think. But as always, enjoy your footy, enjoy your wrestling, and bring on next episode. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.